The NFL playoffs are here, and we'll break down all 6 games for Wild Card Weekend, revealing our straight-up winner picks and against the spread. We'll also make our Super Bowl predictions and announce our regular season Survivor champs, and it's all coming up next. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee.
And I'm Michael Wiley, and we're the Fantasy Football Consultants. Eric, we brought a guest, as folks can see, a repeat guest host for us, Aaron Dean, joining us to bring us the angles that sometimes we miss. Aaron, good to have you.
Hey, it's fun to be back, guys. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back, Aaron. And I need to announce our Survivor regular season contest is now over. There were 3 winners, and sadly, the 3 winners were not Michael Wiley, Eric Lee, and Aaron Dean. They were John Smalak, our correspondent. Congratulations, John. Bert Kleipel, and Richard Moon. Congratulations to all 3 guys. What a great contest. They'll split the prize pool evenly. All right, everybody, let's talk playoffs. It's the best time of the year, unless you're a Raider or a Seahawk fan who, once again, our teams are on the sidelines, but that's all right. They have a high traffic. No, they don't. Neither of them do. Never mind. Let's go to the first game. We're going to go in chronological order. The first game kicking off Wild Card Weekend is the Cleveland Browns, 2.5-point favorites on the road against the Houston Texans. Surprising that the Texans made it from the beginning of the year. Michael, tell us, what do you think of this game?
You know, if you'd told me that Deshaun Watson would be gone and the Browns would still be competing, not that Deshaun Watson was necessarily the guy, but with, who they had as backup, I would have said, no way. But this defense has been so impressive. Stefanski's done a great job. The addition of Flacco coming out of retirement has been a big deal. And it just reminds us the importance of defense, especially in the playoffs, which is why this spread is what it is. Not surprised to see Cleveland the favorites. Really big shout out to D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud, who's going to be Rookie of the Year for such a great season. Had a little rough patch, especially when CJ Stroud was out. I think the loss of Tank Dell is a big deal. But D'Amico Ryans is, they did a great job with the draft. CJ Stroud has been good, although he did look pretty bad the last couple of weeks, maybe still rusty coming off his injury. But the Browns do not look rusty. Just a couple injury topics. I'm sure you'd add this, Eric, but Amari Cooper, he hasn't been practicing. I think they think he's going to play. Garrett and Hunt and Njoku, they're all, a little banged up. But they basically got a bye. Keep an eye on Dustin Hopkins. They can't, missing a kicker is a big deal. Texans really only missing Tank Dell as far as I know. I think it would surprise me to see the Browns lose this game, but it is in Houston. And Houston's had some games where their offense has been quite impressive. So I'm excited about this one.
Good Your spread pick.
I think that Cleveland's not only going to win this game, but they are going to cover the spread.
Aaron?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the place is going to be rocking. Houston hasn't been in the playoffs for quite some time now. It's been a few years, I think, before the pandemic. And, CJ Stroud, and maybe the reason why CJ Stroud hasn't looked exactly like he looked before his injury is that December football is slightly different than all the rest of the football. And then you get into January in the playoffs, and it's another step up. I think this team is about 1 to 2 years ahead of schedule. D'Amico Ryans has done a fantastic job. But I really think that the rookie might struggle just a bit because the game is going to go a little quicker than what he's accustomed to seeing. And you saw it in December. Games get tighter. Games become more meaningful. Teams have got to win. They're putting everything on the line. Defensive coordinators are schematically scheming up, unique blitz plans and different things to get guys off schedule. The playoffs is a whole nother animal. And I just think that CJ Stroud, while he's going to have a decent game. I think the injuries on the wide receiver front mount this thing a little bit too much for him to overcome. And Flacco, he's got that playoff experience, so I think the Browns win this game comfortably.
Okay, so one of the great things of having three guys is we can get diversity of opinion, but not in this first game. Not in this first game. We got all three Clevelands and all three covering the spread. Aaron mentioned it at the end. I just want to make sure you're clear. We know Tank Dell's out, but I am concerned about the health of Noah Brown and Robert Woods. And I'm concerned, as impressive as CJ Stroud is, the experience factor over to Flacco in the playoffs. So, all right. So we've got Cleveland moving on. And if everything goes according to plan with the Cleveland win, guess what, folks? Flacco goes back to say the Ravens, goes back to Baltimore next week. Isn't that pretty crazy?
That is crazy.
Oh.
All right. So, Aaron, let's talk about the next game. Kansas City, the third seed, is at home, and they are 4-point favorites against Miami. What do you think?
Well, the fish are going to be frozen tuna. I mean, I think that game time is 9 degrees, and it's probably going to drop down to, a little lower, down into like -1 degrees. And any team that comes up from Miami historically has never done well. Tua, he's from, he played college football in the South. He plays in the deep South, obviously now in Miami. They've been decimated on the defensive line. I think they're down to now their 5th and 6th string edge rushers. I think that the injury front on the defensive side of the ball is going to just be too much for the Dolphins to overcome. And while I don't think Kansas City is going to run away with this game because the ball is going to be cold, it's going to be slick. I think the wide receivers already have a hard time catching the ball for Kansas City. I think there's going to be some big drops. There's going to be some turnovers. There's going to be a fumble or two. I think this game is going to be close. I think that if you were wise, you would have picked up this line on Sunday when it was around 3. But I don't think the Chiefs cover, but I think they win.
Okay, so you picked Miami plus the 4.
Yes, with this particular point spread at 4, yes.
All right. So, yeah, the defensive injuries that you're talking about, I mean, we're not just talking about starters. We're talking about superstars in Bradley Chubb, Xavier Howard. These are major problems on the defensive side. But throw in the fact that I'm not so sure how healthy their offense will be. We've got a situation where I don't know if Jalen Waddle either will play, or if he plays, will he be at 100%? And same with Raheem Mostert. You make an excellent point about the night game being projected negative temperatures for this Miami team, which I've been worried about all year. I thought it was so important that they got a home playoff game, and they didn't. Now, I just want a caveat, even though I'm picking Kansas City straight up and against the spread, I'm not happy. This Kansas City team was in the preseason a pick to go to the Super Bowl, my pick. I have major concerns. Kelsey's not Kelsey. Jerick McKinnon's on IR. This team scares me a little bit, Michael. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't disagree. You want to believe that Andy Reid's going to have a bag of tricks, going to find a way to get Pat Mahomes right, who's just not been right. I do want to give a little shout out to their defense. Their defense has held things together for them. And I think they can keep the Dolphins down, but I'm shocked that they have not had a better running game. It's something that they did late in the year last year, and obviously it paid off all the way into the Super Bowl. But they just them and the Eagles are a shell of themselves. It's like, the Super Bowl wiped these teams out late this year, partly injuries. And even though the last game was a bit of a bye for them, it really wasn't a full bye for them. And so, fortunately for them, the Dolphins are in tough shape. In addition to the injuries you mentioned, Jerome Baker's out. They even have guys who are banged up who aren't practicing right now. My guy Javon Holland, out of our hometown, same thing. Just been banged up. And Mostert is still banged up. It doesn't look like is he going to play? Does it look like he's going to play?
As of now, I
Questionable.
don't think it's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's questionable. Yeah.
Kane's been fantastic. Obviously, Tyreek Hill is a difference maker. But I think that the offense that the Dolphins had early on the season is just not there, and their defense, it just hasn't really been just can't overcome these injuries. So I guess I would be surprised. I'm certainly picking the Chiefs, like you say, Aaron, in the cold weather. But I think I'm going to be surprised if Andy Reid doesn't have a game plan that exploits some of these injuries, makes it to where Mahomes doesn't have to make any magic, and then they take care of business comfortably. Maybe at the end there's a late field goal that brings it closer, or late touchdown that brings it closer. Excuse me, but I think the Chiefs are going to cover
that. Michael, that's exactly it. I think it's the late cover, Eric. Is that what I'm worried about? Is Tyreek Hill just busting himself behind the coverage, and they hitting a long one, and all of a sudden now it goes from being a 9-point win to now just a 2-point win with an onside kick trying to kick a field goal. But I think the play here, honestly, in this game, if I were putting money, we might put some money on this when we go to Vegas this weekend, it would be the under. And I think the under has dropped from 47 down to 44 points. And to me, I think this has got a game written all over. It's a 2017, 17-13 type of game. And to me, they're not going over 40 points.
Isn't that amazing? The Dolphins and Chiefs.
I know.
44.
I think it's the weather. It's the weather that's going to prevent a lot of this.
These teams too. They're just not at their peak.
No doubt.
I love that prediction. 17-13 game. That's the 4-point spread. Aaron, don't tell me that you agree with Michael. Michael's on my side. Michael said he's going with Kansas City coverage.
That's not a win. You got to win by 4.5, Eric.
Exactly. That's why you're just straddling the line. But Michael and I say that Kansas City will cover. Aaron is on his own with going with Miami plus the 4. I just would say that Tyreek Hill, revenge game, right? I'm sure he'll be motivated, but that really is going to depend on them having other weapons like Waddle, because KC does have a shutdown corner in Snead, and he could slow Hill down if that's their only major weapon. But let's see what happens here. Let's move on to Buffalo. Buffalo is the 2 seed, and they are 10-point favorites at home against Pittsburgh. This Buffalo team is hot. They have won 5 in a row coming into the playoffs, and they haven't just beat patty cake teams. 3 of those wins are against playoff teams: Kansas City, Dallas, and Miami. And they really beat up that Miami team. Michael Weil and I watched it together. It was just, how many times are they going to turn over the ball, the Buffalo Bills? If they can just cut down on those turnovers, that game would have been a blowout. Look, Mike Tomlin, in my opinion, gets huge praise for continuing to get this team over 500. But I'm not a believer in Pittsburgh and Mason Rudolph. And if Buffalo can put points on the board against them, Pittsburgh is not a team that can catch up. I don't think that they're going to put a lot of points when they are known to have to pass the ball. So obviously I'm picking Buffalo, but I'm also picking Buffalo minus the 10.
Michael? What a point spread, and it's understandable. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to be back after his little hiatus, but TJ Watt is out. I mean, the Steelers are not the Steelers without TJ Watt. They're on the road in Buffalo, where you got the Buffalo Mafia, and you're right. I mean, this Buffalo team, it's amazing to me that they almost missed the playoffs. And they're kind of sneaking in as the 2 seed, not going to have to play the Ravens until the AFC Championship, and they're going to be there. I'm pretty confident of that. this Buffalo Bills team is going to beat the heck out of the Steelers. And the only way they don't cover this spread is if they don't show up for the second half, or if our Valley guy, Aaron, turns the ball over 6 times. They'll still win with 6 turnovers, but I don't think they're going to have 6 turnovers. I think they're going to play a little bit a little more conservative than that.
That was a rip on. That was a Josh Allen, and in case anyone missed that, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, hey, he's Brett Favre. Okay, he's just gonna keep slinging it. But I think Michael's right. I don't think they have 6 turnovers, but I would say that Josh Allen will account for at least 2, maybe 3 turnovers in this game. He might have 2 interceptions and a fumble. Here's the deal: it's gonna be they're gonna have 30-mile-an-hour winds with wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. And then you take in the lake effect and dumping snow. I don't see this game being a runaway. And Tomlin, while they don't have TJ Watt, I mean, this game opened up at 7, and TJ Watt, you're going to tell me he's worth 3 points in a line? Maybe, but I just don't see it. I think this is a rah-rah Mike Tomlin time, and he keeps this game a lot closer. And I think Josh Allen I think he's going to keep it a little close as well. I still think they win, but I think it's more along that line of like 7, 8 points, not 10. And there's going to be, it's mainly a weather factor for me. And then 2 is that, yes, Buffalo barely snuck into the playoffs, but I guarantee you they will blow somebody out in the playoffs. And my guess is they're going to blow out the Baltimore Ravens.
No, they're going to blow out Pittsburgh.
They're going to blow out the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm
telling you right now.
Aaron's just talking about this weather, and it's you got to pay attention to the weather.
Yeah.
Let's just remember a little game last year with the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills, where Belichick made it to, threw 2 passes the whole game and still won the game. It might have been 2 years ago against the Buffalo Bills with a team that wasn't that good.
So we disagree again, Aaron. In the sense that we have the same winner, but about whether they're going to cover. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Of all the teams in the playoffs this year, who's the worst team, in your opinion?
Who's the worst team?
Starts with a P. Just a hint.
I mean,
but anyway, go ahead. What do you think?
I think the Steelers are the worst team.
Okay.
I do. I think the Steelers are the worst team. But it's not the fact that Buffalo is going to win this game. Don't get me wrong. I just think that can they blow them out? Yes. Will the weather allow them to blow them out? I don't think so. I think they're going to have to ground and pound with Cook. And I think the Steelers are going to do the same thing with their 2-headed monster with Harris and Warren. And Mason Rudolph is not going to be able to throw the ball in 30 to 50 mile an hour winds. He does not have the arm strength or the accuracy or the wherewithal. He's basically a rookie quarterback making his first start in the playoffs. Josh Allen, on the other hand, has got a howitzer for an arm, but we've seen him get squirrely with that thing too. That's why I think he accounts for 1 or 2 interceptions and a fumble. This game stays close because of the turnovers and the weather.
All right, I think we need to move on, Eric.
I just want to say that Pittsburgh made the playoffs because they beat last 3 weeks of the season. They won 3 games, 2 non-playoff teams, and the Ravens' second string. All right, moving on. Michael's like the adult here. Won't let the plays the kids argue. Michael, wait, who just went there? I did. So Michael, number 2 seed, Dallas Cowboys are 7.5-point favorites at home against the Green Bay Packers. Interesting game from a coaching perspective. So let's go to you, Mike McCarthy, facing his whole team.
Yeah, and it's so tempting to pick against Mike McCarthy. He does not impress me.
He's an easy target.
But you know who does impress me? It's Dallas's defense. It's been a little weaker in the last couple of weeks, and it's been Dallas's offense. Actually, I really don't understand how Dak Prescott has had such a turnaround. And yeah, part of it's CeeDee Lamb, but can we not double cover CeeDee Lamb or triple cover him or something? I mean, the guy is just going off. And it's not because the run game's been opening things up. If you look at Dak Prescott's numbers, he has really improved his ability to get rid of the ball. Mike McCarthy deserves a lot of credit for that. He's really fortunate, though, that he's drawing a Green Bay Packers team that just doesn't really have any playoff experience. Not because the Packers haven't been in the playoffs lately. It's because this team is so young, which I think is a very huge advantage for them, and really, could make for an upset, but just not in Dallas. Dallas has been so good at home. Prescott has been so good at home. Jair Alexander, I think he's back and healthy, but he's not 100%. I don't think he can keep CeeDee Lamb down. Aaron Jones being back, I think is a big deal as well, but he's not 100%. Christian Watson's not 100%. I really like this new rookie that they have. Jordan Love has looked, serviceable. But the Packers, I think, are the second worst team in the playoffs right now. And the Cowboys are a really well-rounded team, even with Mike McCarthy at the helm. So I'm not sure that they cover this spread just because, Dallas is, they're also a playoff flub team, and Mike McCarthy is their head coach. But I think they're going to get the win. I think they're going to win by 7.
So you are going with Green Bay on the spread?
Yeah, although I wouldn't put big money on it.
This is I'm so glad you're here, Aaron. This is getting so boring. I agree with Michael on all 4 games. I'm picking Dallas to win, but 7.5 makes a big difference in, say, 6.5. Dallas comes in kind of limping to the playoffs. They were 2-2, and I think the whole world knows it could have been 1-3 with the close win over Detroit. Their only win in the last 4 games was against the Commanders, who was the second worst team in all of NFL. But I do give credit that this is in Dallas, and I don't just say that because, hey, they're a home team. Dallas is undefeated this year at home. So, but I'm agreeing with Michael. Green Bay on the spread, Dallas to win outright. Aaron?
Yeah, it's a hard one to two as well. But I mean, if this line was at 7, I would take the Cowboys. But at 7.5, it's that hook that's got me thinking, Green Bay, because I think that Dallas wins this game by 6, but it's not 7.5. At the end of the day, Dallas does have, I think, a much better defense. But I also think that Jaden Reed has really come on pretty well for, the Green Bay Packers. And I believe that they just got their rookie tight end back, and he is healthy and is going to play. I think that you'll see a double set tight end set with Kraft and the other tight end there with I think it's not Ferguson. I can't remember who it is with Green Bay, but they're both really exceptional pass catchers, and I think that might create some problems, even if Watson doesn't play on the other side with the wideout. But here's the thing: I think the reason why you can't double team CeeDee Lamb is because Tyler Ferguson has really come on as a good tight end for Dak Prescott over the middle of the field, and then you got the deep threat on the other side with Brandon Cooks as well. I think that's why CeeDee Lamb is just having a field day this last 6 weeks of the season. For me, it's a scary game because Dak Prescott actually he covers large spreads at home. So the only caveat with that is when he's at home, he's a different man. And I think with Green Bay, they do not stop the run that well. And this might be a get right situation for Tony Pollard. He might actually have a pretty good game and go over 100 and maybe score a touchdown or 2.
So I want to make sure I understand where you're picking.
If this game goes to 7, I'm taking Dallas. If this game stays at 7.5, I'm taking Green Bay.
Man.
Okay, you're agreeing with us.
Margins with Eric or with Aaron. I'm sorry.
All right, so the next game, the Detroit Lions are at home, and they are 3.5-point favorites over the LA Rams. I have picked favorites to win every game. That stops here. I am picking the LA Rams plus 3.5, but forget the 3.5. I'm picking the Rams outright to upset the Detroit Lions. Why? Health. The LA Rams actually have all their key guys on offense healthy. A healthy Stafford, a healthy Cooper Kupp, a healthy Nakua. Kyron Williams is looking great. Whereas we can probably debate this all night long, but I think the Lions made a mistake by playing their starters last week. And the cost was Sam Laporta, their star rookie tight end. 10 touchdowns, guys. Huge redstone threat. That's a major detriment to their squad. So the Rams got to play the teams they played. It's been weak opponents, but they come in winners of the last 4. They've got the more experience in the key positions. I'll take Stafford over Goff in this revenge game on both sides. Aaron, what do you think?
I absolutely 100% agree with you. This is my money line pick as well. In fact, I would use the money line with a 2-team parlay and take the Browns with the point and give the points away. You'll probably get 3.5 to 1 on your money. I think this is a sure bet. Of all the bets this weekend, this is the quote unquote one upset of the weekend for sure is going to take place. I think, while Dan Campbell has done a phenomenal job with the Lions, Dan Campbell can also be his worst enemy. We just saw it a couple weeks ago against Dallas. Drew up a great play, but then he just insisted, because he was so pissed off at the refs, of going for the 2-point conversion, not once, but a second time on top of the first time that he attempted the play. So, I think he is going to be his own worst enemy, and you might see some coaching faux pas going on with maybe some gambles on a 4th down when they really should just punt and play for field position. He's going to ride the emotions of the home crowd. You got the better coach with the Rams. You got the better quarterback with the Rams. You got the better wide receivers with the Rams. And then you've got the experience with the Rams. I know they haven't had a lot of turnover with the roster, but some of the key core guys have been there and done that and have won a Super Bowl. I just feel like the Rams they're going to win this game by 7 or more points.
Wow.
And, the big thing too is Detroit misses Laporta. He is not playing in this game, and he has been a huge part of that open in the middle of the field for Jared Goff. He's been his safety valve, and he is not going to be there this week. So I think that plays a big role as well.
Yeah, we're all in agreement. And Michael and I have talked about it. That decision after the penalty that pushed him back, I don't understand it. Michael,
well, I want to give a little respect to the Lions. I mean, we talked about them early, Eric. You talked about them a lot preseason and how they really have built a nice roster. Their running game, the power and thunder and lightning has been, has been great. Jahmyr Gibbs has been great. It opens up the play action, which is Goff's kind of game, and helps Amon-Ra St. Brown. And they have and their defense has been better this year, but this Rams team, it's been good all year long, which shocks everyone. Even early on in the season, when they were kind of figuring a few things out, they were in games against teams that were playing, at the higher level. And then later on in the season, they start beating teams and better teams, and they got a bye last week. I mean, they didn't have to play in that game against the Niners. Both teams basically packed it up. And that's so important when you're trying to get ready for the playoffs. I mean, I think this Rams team is a dark horse in this NFC that looks like the Niners, to win fairly straightforwardly with where the Eagles are at right now. And so I completely agree. I mean, I think Detroit's going to get some advantage from being at home. I think there are some holes in the Rams, but the Detroit's going to really have to stick to this game plan of pound the ball and play action, and missing Laporta really hurts that. And their defense just isn't good enough to keep the Rams from keeping pace. And so I think I agree with Aaron. I think it could be a 7-point or greater, except for the Rams want to make sure that they don't get injured for the next game. because that game's probably going to be in San Francisco. So I'm picking the Rams.
And straight up. So
straight up,
we all are going with the upset, Rams over Detroit. Okay, the last game is the Philadelphia Eagles on the road, 3-point favorites against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Aaron, we'll let you kick this off.
Yeah, I mean, this game has actually gone down, I think, to 2.5, but I think it's gone back. It might go back up, and here's why. I think we are at great risk of not having Baker Mayfield being on the field this week. He's got a banged up ankle, banged up shoulder. He may or may not play when it comes time for the Bucks and the Eagles on Monday night. The one saving grace is that they do get a couple extra days. Don't have to play on a Saturday or the Sunday and wait all the way until Monday. But I also think that plays well for the Philadelphia Eagles as well, because obviously Jalen Hurts hurt his middle finger. While it's not broken, he jammed it or dislocated on his throwing hand. But a couple extra days is obviously going to help him get right as well. There's obviously a lot of issues with the Eagles right now. I'm not a big fan of Nick Sirianni. If I'm the Eagles and I'm Howie Roseman, I'm thinking about canning him after the playoffs, and I'm probably going to try to go after Mike Vrabel or Bill Belichick. It would be a massive upgrade for them. But I just think that the Philadelphia Eagles and A.J. Brown, too, he may not play, but I just feel like they will be able to run the ball with Swift. He's back this week. He missed with an illness this last week, but they'll be able to ground the ball. I think Goddard has a big day for tight end as well with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think they have no problem covering this spread. In fact, I kind of think that Tampa Bay may struggle even to score.
Michael?
Yeah, I mean, if Baker Mayfield doesn't go, this is one to throw a lot of money on. So the Eagles look so out of sorts right now. And obviously, if Jalen Hurts is not able to, push the ball downfield, that's a problem. But the Eagles have so many weapons. Offensively, of course, and I think they're last year in the playoffs and the end of this season, they got their running back number 14. Who is it? What's his name, guys?
Singletary?
Swift?
No,
Gainwell.
Yeah, Gainwell. They got him going, and I think they need to get him going again. You need Jalen Hurts to be able to dump the ball off, and Swift can do that, but that's not his game. Gainwell is the guy that they need to get the ball to. Goddard being back is huge. Obviously, A.J. Brown needs to be back. It's so tempting to think that the Eagles are not going to show up because they've been so bad, and that the Bucs have, really kind of had some impressive games. But if Baker Mayfield's gone, no way. And even if he's there, I think I'm with Aaron here. I don't think they're going to score much. And so this is a much needed, easy game for the Eagles, so that they have a chance the next week against what I think is going to be against the Cowboys.
Yeah, so if you ask me, you got to pick your wild card games, but you get one game that, you don't have to pick. This would be the game for me because there's so many unknowns right now when we talk about it, right? You guys talked about the Baker Mayfield. But I really want to know about the wide receivers of Philadelphia. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith is just critical for the Eagles offense. But let's face it, folks, I would have a different reaction to this game if this was 5 weeks ago. Michael did allude to it. This Eagle team has been absolutely horrible. They lost 5 of 6 coming into the playoffs, but who have they lost to? Non-playoff teams, Seattle, Arizona, the Giants, in a game they needed to win. They get blown out by the New York Giants. Their defensive secondary is really bad. And you take Tampa Bay with Mike Evans and Godwin. These guys actually are weapons. The question is, who will throw the ball to them? I was ready to pick Tampa Bay straight up before the Baker Mayfield injury because of how badly the Eagles are playing. Oh, to be contrarian, I will definitely take the Bucs with the 3 points because I don't know what's going, and I'm going to get 3 points. And I admit, scoring 9 points against the Panthers is an abomination for that offense, and it had to do with probably Baker Mayfield not being healthy.
They should have lost. They had a touchdown going across the end zone, and it took like 500 hours to review on replay. And obviously he fumbled it into the end zone. And then they had another touchdown that was called back because of a procedural call. So they should have lost the game 14-9.
The Panthers also missed the very makeable field goal.
Yeah, too.
So I hear you. It's concerns, but to be a little contrarian, I'll pick Philadelphia to win, but I'm going to take the 3 points with the Bucs.
So, Eric, would you make that bet if it's Kyle Trask? Because I ask for this reason. Because if it's Kyle Trask, the score goes up to 6. So why not wait to bet on this game until the last possible second, right?
True. So are you thinking that you're assuming Hurts is going to be okay and AJ Brown's going to be okay?
No, AJ Brown will not be. I don't think AJ Brown plays in this game, but I don't think that they have to have him play in this game because I think if they have Devonta Smith and Goddard, and then with the running game that they have, I think they'll be just fine to win the game with just the 2 weapons on the outside.
I'm not as confident with the Eagles, but I hear what you're saying and I understand. But if you tell me AJ Brown is out and they're throwing Trask out there, I almost feel better because I'd rather Trask than Mayfield if he's not healthy, which he clearly wasn't last week.
Well, that point spread will go up then. It'll go to 6, maybe 5.5, 6. So I would wait to make that bet.
Okay, there you go, folks. Wait. That's what I wanted. Didn't know how I started. I said I'd rather just wait and not pick because I don't know what's going on.
There you go. There you go.
Aaron, as always, a joy to have you on the show. Michael and I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about our schedule. So there will be no coverage of NFL DFS this week. This is our only show this week. But we will be back. We are not packing it in for the season. We're going to be back for the Super Bowl. But, oh, by the way, we need to make our Super Bowl picks. We're going to make our Super Bowl picks, and we need to make our dark horse pick. So let's be really quick with this. My Super Bowl pick, it is so easy. I'm going to scare you guys not to do it. It is so easy and so weak to say San Francisco and Baltimore. So I'm not going to do that. I am going to say San Francisco wins the Super Bowl over Buffalo. Aaron?
Ooh, that's exactly what I was going to say.
What? Same here. Same here. Ditto, ditto, ditto.
Boo, Eric.
What are you talking about?
Boo. I mean, the Niners have a pretty nice road, except for maybe what's going to be my contrarian pick, the Rams getting there. They have such a nice road. It makes it to where they're probably not going to be that banged up going into the Super Bowl. And if they are, then okay, maybe I'll pick against them. The Buffalo Bills are the only team that I think that can give them a game. I mean, it's hard to say that the Ravens, can't have a game. We could have a rematch of, Super Bowl, whatever it was when Harbaugh beat Harbaugh. But I think the Buffalo Bills are coming into their own right now, as long as they don't have too many injuries. So
you're copying me again, Michael?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Hey, great minds think alike, but so do mediocre ones. Aaron?
Same thing. It's San Francisco and the Buffalo Bills. I am all over that as well.
Who wins?
San Francisco. It's the year of the Niners. Kyle Shanahan finally gets over the hump. He finally gets the monkey off his back, being the coordinator in Atlanta when they had the 25 or 27 point lead over the Patriots, 28-3. I think he finally alleviates that, and they get over the hump, and San Francisco actually wins quite comfortably.
All right, last one, dark horse, and let me tell you, you cannot pick a 1 or 2 seed. Dark horse to win the Super Bowl. You can't pick a 1 or 2 seed. Michael, I'll let you go before me, so you can't copy me.
Yeah. I kind of hinted at it as the Rams making it there. And so since I really don't know that there's any non-1-2 seed in the AFC that can win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Rams all the way, but it's not going to happen.
My dark horse, if I want to just roll the dice, I wish I should have the money lines in front, but I'm sure you get a lot of high money line on this, is the Cleveland Browns. We've commented a lot here about defense wins championships. They have the defense. They have an experienced quarterback. I'll pull the Michael Wiley line. Do I think it'll happen? No. But I think if I want to take a flyer, the Browns would be my flyer. Aaron?
It's a good one. Yeah, great defense. Just not sure they got enough offensive weapons. But I kind of go with the Rams. It's an offensive game. It is not a defensive game anymore. And I just think that they're just way too prolific to be shut down. So they can definitely get hot in these playoffs and create a lot of problems for people. Nobody wants to play the Rams.
All right. So we are coming back before the Super Bowl. We will give each other a hard time on how these picks went and how our predictions went. And we'll preview the Super Bowl, and we'll prepare a DraftKings and FanDuel lineups for the Super Bowl. Should be a lot of fun. Please stay tuned. If you haven't, please smash that subscribe button and the like button. Have a great couple of weeks, and we will see you before the Super Bowl.
Bye, everyone.